now and we'll get started. There we go. Okay. So let's come on to our comfortable seat, and whatever that looks like for you, take a moment, find the shift to make it even more comfortable for yourself, and then move your sitting bones a little bit side to side, back and broad, and then let your hands rest down. And as you lift up and open through your sides, draw your shoulder blades onto your back and let your eyes close. And as you tune into your breath right here, just give yourself a moment to notice your body in this space. Noticing how it feels to sit, and any of the body sensations that might have shown up. Notice how it feels to bring a little more length to your spine. And then even as you take a deeper breath, notice from feet to crown. Try to notice all those spaces that maybe don't have sensation, but are just there in the experience. Take a full big breath, filling up entirely. And then bring your hands to connect at heart center. And as you gently press your palms together, lift up and open through your shoulders. And then bow towards your heart. Honoring yourself for this time that you're spending to check in on your mat. And then as you softly open your eyes and release your hands down, take a moment here to push, a little press into your legs, lift up through your sides again, draw your shoulder blades onto your back, and then we'll get a little bit of movement through the head and the neck. So take your right ear over to your right shoulder. Re-engage your left shoulder blade. Take a couple big breaths here and just allow your breath to help you expand more on the left side of your neck. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Re-engage the right shoulder blade. And again, take that moment to let your breath help you expand on the right side of your neck. Inhale, back up to center. And exhale, tuck your chin down. You're engaging shoulder blades onto your back and shaking your head no gently toward the ground. And then take little nods here toward the ground. And you're keeping your chin tucked down, and you can take whichever hand feels the best behind the back of your neck. And you're going to do some squeezing from the base of your neck all the way to the base of your skull. So a few squeezes up your neck and then back down your neck. And as you find maybe a tense spot with those squeezes, pause there with your squeeze and shake your head no just a tiny bit. And then maybe move to a different tense spot, squeeze, and shake your head no. And then releasing your hand down, re-engage your shoulder blades and lift up with your chin toward the ceiling to lengthen through the front part of your neck. And even more so, reach up a little further through your jaw. And then little shakes of your head no here. And then come back into center and roll shoulders back as you drop your chin down. Keep rolling shoulders back as you lift your chin up. One more time this way, drop your chin down, roll shoulders back. Lift your chin up and roll shoulders back. And then come back into center. Go ahead and switch the cross here if you're sitting cross-legged. And move your sitting bones. And now hands to your upper thighs at your hip crease and give a little push down as you lengthen up through your sides, draw your shoulder blades onto your back. And now hands behind to either clasp or you can make fists at your low back, whichever feels the best in your body this morning. Wherever that is, hug elbows back toward each other to feel that engagement through the shoulder blades. And then begin to lift up through the front of your chest, lift up through your collarbones. And then from this place, we're going to do that tuck up and down with your chin again. So chin in toward your chest, squeeze shoulder blades, chin lifts toward the ceiling, squeeze shoulder blades. A couple more times, chin down, chin up. One more, chin down, chin up. And then back to a neutral place with your head. Release your hands, take your hands in front to clasp, pull forward with your arms, and round back through your spine, chin tucks in toward your chest. Take a couple big breaths here, and add a little bit of movement side to side through your shoulders. A little sway, getting a little further down into your side back bodies. And then back up to center, lifting up tall. And let's take hands out to our knees. And as you exhale, press back through your spine into your cat-like pose. Inhale, circle your ribs over to the left side, all the way around the front. And exhale back on the right. Inhale, circle to the left. And exhale, come back on the right. One more time on this side. Full inhale, long, deep exhale. Then inhale, switch sides, moving to the right and coming back on the left. Full, deep, long inhales and exhales. One more, full breath. And then inhale, sit tall, walk fingertips forward and come as deeply into a forward fold as your body is ready for. Feel free to set yourself up here with a prop underneath your elbows, or elbows or hands to the ground. You get to decide what would be the best for your body right now. And take a couple big deep breaths. And now inhale, rise up to your hands, and we're going to shift forward onto hands and knees. And then we're going to get a little calf stretch from our hands and knees. So feel free to set a blanket underneath your knees here if you would like. But then set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then reach back with your right leg with your toes tucked under. And then begin a few pulses here. So you're giving that little stretch through the calf, maybe the Achilles tendon, and just giving yourself a chance to notice the ankle joint. So as you pulse forward and back, take some big breaths and notice for yourself what's there. And then set your knee back down and stretch back with your left leg, toes tucked under. And again, same thing, little pulses here. You can notice again what you're feeling and where. What are those sensations? Are they different on this side than the other side? And then release left knee back down. And then inhale, reach back with your right leg, turn open with your hip, and this time bend your knee, press your heel toward the left side. So you have that quad stretch reaching through your thigh. Give your belly a little tone here. Take a full breath. On your exhale, set your knee back down. Inhale, reach back with your left leg, turn open with your hip, bend your knee, and you're pressing your heel toward the right side. Think of lengthening through your thigh. Engage the belly. Big breath. On your exhale, both knees come back down. And now, big toes together, knees wide, settle into a child's pose here. Turning palms up if you'd like to give your wrists a little bit of love. And from there, you can move through your hands and wrists if you would like to. Take some full big breaths. And then rising back up to your hands and knees. And we're going to come up to our tall knees now. So again, if you'd like, you can set yourself up on a blanket here for a little cushion for your knees. And then a block can be handy to your left side. Reach your right leg out to the right side. You're giving your foot a flex. If it's okay with your ankle, you might set your whole foot down, but think of toes aimed forward. When you turn your toes to the side, you take away the inner rotation of the thigh. So let's try for those toes turned forward. From this place, take a look down at your standing thigh and notice it straight up and down. So you don't want it out to the side or in. So as you press down onto your hips, lift up with your sides. And now take your right hand down your thigh a little ways. And as you lift your left arm straight up, lengthen through your sides, and then take a little side stretch over toward the right. Take a full big breath, opening the left shoulder up just a little bit more. Expand your left ribs with your breath. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And now we're taking our right hand, it can come to the ground or to a block on the left side. Left hand to the block, that is, I think I said right hand. Sorry about that. So now, as you come to this kind of side plank variation here, if you'd like, you can stretch up. You can always stretch over your ear for a little longer side body stretch. But if it's comfortable, root down through the pinky toe edge. If it's not comfortable to root through the pinky toe edge on your right leg, then keep your foot flexed. Full big deep breath. As you breathe, fill your right ribs up. Top hand back to your hip and rise all the way back up, and we'll switch sides. Move the block over if you would like to. And then reach the left leg out to the left side. And again, toes aimed straight ahead, and you can either set your whole foot down or keep that flex, whichever is right for your body. Check your right thigh straight up and down. Take your hands to your hips and press, lift up through your sides. And from there, work your left hand down your left thigh. And then right arm reaches straight up. Now think from your knee and thigh, reach all the way up through your fingertips and then stretch over. Take a big deep breath. Turn more open with the right shoulder. Full inhale and exhale to fill up those right ribs. Inhale back up to center. And now your right hand comes down to the floor or your block, whichever feels the best. And again, your foot can be flexed, or you can set the pinky toe edge down on your left leg. From here, straight up or over your ear are two options for you for your left arm. Take a big deep breath and think of puffing up your left ribs. And then top hand back to your hip And then rise all the way back up, and we're settling down with both knees. Settle hips back towards your heels, coming to this kneeling position if it's comfortable. If not, you can sit all the way down. And hands come to your upper thighs at your hip creases and give a little push down and then a little rock side to side with the hips. All right, and then let's bring our hips over to one side and bring our legs all the way out in the front. Find your blanket and find the quarter fold and then roll up the long end. And then bring soles of feet together and we'll pull them in toward us as close as is comfortable to be able to sit tall. Blanket over the top of your feet and underneath your legs. We'll wrap there for your ankles. And then from there, move your sitting bones back and broad. Take your hands to your blanket, to your shins, to the floor behind you, wherever it helps you to sit tall. And then find that length. Lift up all the way from low down into your low back. Think of your belly coming forward, your pelvis tilting. Take a deep breath. We've got 3 more big breaths right here. And now we're moving our feet away from us a little ways so we have that diamond shape with our legs. And then bring your bolster in between your legs and over the top of your feet. And then press fingertips down beside your hips, lengthen up tall. And then as you exhale and fold, you're folding towards your bolster, maybe setting something on top of your bolster to set your head on, or maybe your head comes all the way down. Find where it's comfortable to let yourself settle, especially allowing yourself to set your forehead on something. Kind of that magic button place for your nervous system. That's what your third eye is sometimes. So if you allow it to press against something, then you can convince your nervous system to release and let go. You have about 5 more breaths right here. And now gently inhale and bring yourself upright. And you can set your props aside for a moment. And we're going to take our legs out in front of us, long and as straight as is comfortable. And you might have wider legs, you might have more narrow legs. There's no right or wrong answer other than what feels the best to you on your low back especially. So now move your sitting bones. And then press your fingertips down beside you and lift up and open through your chest. So a little modified version of staff pose here. But then point your toes And take a moment here with your pointed toes to notice length through the front of your legs. And then flex your feet, pulling your toes back towards your knees, and notice the length through the backs of your legs. And then point your toes and flex your feet. A couple more times this way. Point and flex, and point and flex. And now point, and we're going to turn our legs so that our knees are turning out, and even more so, try to pick your toes up towards your body. So your toes are still pointed. So there's a little bit of a stretch through that, what's it called? Gosh, I can't remember the name of the muscle group, but it's the stirrup muscle that goes down the sides of your legs, basically underneath your big calf muscles, underneath your foot. And then release that pull upward with your toes. Just point your toes and then try to turn so that your toes are turning up. It's like you're trying to turn the bottoms of your feet towards you. And then release that. And then one more time. Pull up with the bottoms of your feet. Your toes are still pointed. Good. And then release. And just flex and point, turning your legs back to center. Okay, so now let's get a little bit more into the outside edge of our legs and into the hips. So we're going to take this variation of our pigeon pose that is a little bit more gentle for us to come to sometimes. So right leg, the thigh is parallel with the side of your mat. The shin is parallel with the front of your mat. Left leg, knee straight out to the side, straight out to the left. Shin parallel to the side of your mat. Give your feet a little action here. Then turn your belly a little forward. You might find that your left hip will rotate a little forward here for you. And then start with a long spine to fold over your right leg as deeply as you need. Feel free to add a prop here, because sometimes this can be intense. So find where that is for you. Find a full breath. And even as there might be some tension, see if you can utilize your breath to help yourself calm and soothe. Maybe finding that way with your breath to let little parts, little bits of fascia, little parts of the muscle and connective tissue to release, even as something else might be holding on. And we have 3 more breaths right here. And then gently bring yourself back upright. And then we'll take that rotation of the hip on the left hip here. So take your right hand back behind you a little ways so you can lean back a little bit. Press so you're rising up out of the shoulder, but then your left hand gets to help you rotate your leg, rotate your hip a little bit more forward. And as you do that, you might adjust where that hand is behind you to find a little bit more stretch. This sometimes gets into the psoas, as it's getting into the upper inner thigh, into the hip, and then up into the back ribs. Take a full, big, deep breath. One more full breath here. And then we're rising all the way back up and bringing legs back into the front. And then we'll switch sides, coming to the left side of your mat with your left thigh. Left shin comes parallel to the front of your mat. And then right leg, thigh straight out to the side, shin parallel to the side of your mat. And then as you turn your torso forward, again, you might find that little rotation of your back hip here, and then start to work your way as far into a fold over your front leg as your body is ready for. And just remember that with any pose, even if it's intense, we get to find that place where it's not so far that we can't calm a little bit through the nervous system. So maybe prop up a little ways here. And then take those big breaths. Remember, a little bit of action through the feet is going to help with some ankle stability and knee stability. It also changes the stretch just a little bit. Where can you sense your body letting go a little bit, even if there's still some intensity? We have 3 more full breaths right here. And then gently bring your torso back upright. And then your left hand works back behind you and diagonally a little bit. Push down with your left hand, finding that stability through the shoulder. And then use the right hand to help you rotate a little bit more forward toward the front of your mat. Take a big, deep breath. You might adjust how far back your hand is behind you. Full deep inhale and exhale. Thinking of almost creating a little bit of a back bend here. And then gently come all the way back upright and bring both legs out in front. And now we'll take either the rolled up blanket or the bolster, whichever feels the best in your body, to set underneath your legs here for more of a restorative version of a forward fold. And you're welcome to take legs wide if that feels better, or narrow. I like somewhere in between, so you get to decide what that looks like for you. And then move the sitting bones. And then as you inhale and lengthen, notice that tilt of your pelvis towards your legs. And then walk your hands down your legs, maybe down the floor, maybe come to holding on to your feet. One of my favorites is to set my elbows on my thighs. It gives my quads a little bit of that fascia feedback. So you get to find what this looks like for you. And remember that you're not stuck in one place. You can switch as your body tells you to. Take some full, big, deep breaths. You might let your eyes close here if that feels good. And give yourself that chance again to notice where it is that you can let go of tension. And remember, as your body tells you that it could use a little shift, feel free to do so. You have about 3 more full breaths right here. And then inhale, rise all the way back up to your seat. And bend your knees, take your bolster out from underneath. And now we're gonna do a little foot massage before we actually come down onto our backs. So you get to prop yourself up in any way that feels comfortable. You can take whichever foot first that you'd like. You can set your foot right over your own leg if that's comfortable, or you can prop it up on something else if that's more comfortable. You can sit up on something, your choice. I'm gonna take off my socks to be able to have a little skin to skin contact. So whichever foot you're choosing, doesn't matter. Just try to make yourself comfortable in your seat. And then take your hands together to rub. Creating a little warmth and friction, and ultimately generating some prana. And now you're going to take your hands and just use the warmth of your hands to squeeze your foot. And you're going to go up and down your foot from the toes, down the sides, all the way to the heel. Just let the warmth of your hands settle into your foot a little bit. And now you're going to take your opposite hand. So if it's your right foot, take your left hand and pull your toes back. So you're in a good sized point here, and then just move your toes a little side to side. And now take your fingers over the top of your foot and just draw them down your foot across your toes. You're just covering some of those muscles that go in between the knuckles of your foot, of your toes. And now the other hand is going to draw your foot back so you have a good sized flex where your toes are drawing towards your knee. And then your hand that you were just using, you're going to use to go up and down your Achilles tendon. So from the heel up the leg. And you're pinching a little bit. A little squeeze up those muscles. This is ultimately the direction of the Achilles. And now pinch and pull like you're trying to squeeze the skin and pull it away. And you don't have to do it that dramatically. I was just showing the direction. But squeeze and pull, squeeze and pull. And now fingertips, as you pull your toes back, the other fingertips are going to be at your heel, and you're going to come to the very front of your heel where you have 2 pressure points. If you have ever had insoles made for your feet, then there are 2 bumps that push up there, and those are what affect your arch. So you can use your fingertips, you can use your thumb to rub into the front of your heel and just see if you can notice a spot or 2 of tension. Sometimes it's hard to feel 2. A little rub, little circular motions. And now take your fingertips to rub all the way around your heel. And now you can let go of your foot from pulling it back and take your knuckles on your hand to rub up and down your arch. And you're going from the inside of the arch to the middle to the outside. You actually have a separate arch that's on the outside of your foot. We just don't tend to notice. We always notice the big arch. So go a couple times through the entire arch. And now we'll cover the third arch in the foot, the transverse arch that's over the knuckles. So we're going to take our fingers to the top of the foot, thumbs to the bottom of the foot. And then it's almost like you're trying to break your foot in half. You're sliding your fingers down the outside of your foot and pushing your thumbs into your ball of the foot. You can move those thumbs from the big toe mound to the middle to the pinky toe mound. Okay, and then go ahead and release your foot. And we're gonna go to the second side. And again, make yourself comfortable. And then let's, again, take our hands together to rub. Create a little warmth. And then let's squeeze our foot up and down the foot from the heel to the arch to the toes. Send that warmth into your foot. Okay, and now the opposite foot of the leg that you have being massaged, pull your toes back. So it's a good sized point, and then a little side to side movement. And then you're going to rub your fingers down the muscles in between the knuckles of the toes, down the toes. And then you're going to flex, switching hands, take a hold with the other hand to pull the toes back. And then we're going to give our Achilles tendon some love. So again, from the heel up the back of the leg. And so as you rub your fingers in this direction with this flex of the foot, you can notice any of the spots that might be tense and holding on. And now remember that squeeze and pull away, up and down the Achilles tendon. And now fingertips to the base of your heel, trying to find those two pressure points. And sometimes it's easier to find them because you have your toes pulled back and then your arch is active. So little rubs, see if you can find those tender spots. Little circles, you can move fingers around until maybe you find a little bit of tenderness. Take some breaths when you find that tenderness. And if you're not finding any tenderness, then you can say, oh, how lucky for me. I know this is the area that my feet tend to like to cramp up the most. Yeah. Okay. And then all the way around the heel, just rubbing circumference, fingertips, thumb, whatever feels good here. Okay, and now knuckles are gonna rub up and down your arch. Remember, you have that inside of the arch, middle, and the outside arch. Okay, and then the third arch. So fingers over the top of the foot, thumbs underneath to push in. And you're gonna rub your fingers down from the center out and push in with your thumbs at the same time. And again, you can go from the big toe mound to the middle to the pinky toe mound. Okay. All right. So now you can go ahead and set both feet on the ground for a moment, knees are bent. And just with hands at the knees, move through a couple rounds of cat and cow, gently moving through the spine and noticing your feet at the same time. Okay, and then let's go ahead and come all the way down onto your back. And from your back, right away, let's give ourselves a little bit of a propping for our legs. So if it's in your practice, you can take soles of feet together, knees open over your bolster here, or you can just let your legs come out straight as you come to rest. Rolled up blanket, if you would like it, can go underneath your head here. Or not underneath your head, but underneath your neck. Take a few moments here to find the most comfortable propped up place for yourself. I like, after having done a little foot massage, to have my soles of feet touching, just to give them that connection, but you do not have to do that. Just take that time here to let yourself shift and adjust to find what's comfortable. And maybe even notice if it's harder or easier to come to a comfortable place after that foot massage. Begin to take a deeper breath. Begin to gently move through fingers and toes. As you're ready to bend your knees and roll to your side, slowly, gently bring yourself up to your seat. And take a moment to create a comfortable seat for yourself. And then as you find the long spine and lengthen all the way through the crown of your head, with your eyes closed if it's comfortable, bring your awareness to your breath. For a moment, watch it move in and out. And then start to observe it moving from the crown of your head down the front of you to your tail on the inhale. And as you exhale, watch it moving from your tail up the back of you to the crown of your head. Inhale down the front. Exhale up the back. And for a few breaths, just watch this movement. And now bring your mind's eye to settle at your heart. You can even stack one hand over the other on your heart space if you would like to. Take a moment to watch the movement of your heart space, watching it expand and contract. And now bring to mind a heart quality that you would like to carry with you off your mat into your day. This can be anything from compassion to gratitude, to kindness, to joy, empathy, whatever it happens to be. Choose that heart quality and take a couple breaths as your heart expands and contracts. And now with that heart quality, say to yourself, whatever that heart quality is already always with me. For example, kindness is already always with me. A couple of breaths with this. Connecting hands together in Anjali Mudra. Draw them to your third eye and back to your heart, and bow towards your heart. Have a peaceful, beautiful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.